At Bianchi Honda, we want to exceed your expectations for customer service. From our gorgeous showroom and accommodating staff to our extraordinary selection of Honda vehicles and industry-leading service department. Your vehicle should be the best choice for you, and you can find it here at Bianchi Honda. I'm Jason Perico, and I promise to always make it worth a visit.
At this time, Jim Brunelli, head coach of the Gannon Lady Knights. Coach, how you doing?
I'm hanging in there. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Well. You're coming off a road trip. You ran into, looks like, some pretty stiff competition early on. We started to talk about it a little bit. There's really only one way to get to speed early in a season. You got to play some games.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And these games, these pre-conference, these challenges, you're going to go up and we decided with the kids we have to go out and challenge us and go into a region that the teams are in our region. The CIAA is in our region, and there's some teams we don't get to see. So when you have Lincoln and a Virginia State, we saw Lincoln last year. Virginia State's a very good team. They've had some good teams over the last several years since I've been in this region. So, they're in the tournament, and then good squads, well-coached teams, very athletic, up and down the floor. And our ladies got a taste of what real live college basketball is. And we did some good things. We took away some positives. A couple things that we need to to take away and stop doing is turning the ball over. You can't have that many turnovers. But, like I told the team after our first game, we had 28 turnovers in the first game, and with a minute 30, it's a 5-point game after having 28 turnovers. You're still in it. So you're able to do some good things. You just can't have those what I call self-inflicted wounds. You can't be hurting yourself. Unforced errors, different things like that, missing bunnies, little chippies like that. But I think the ladies, it was a really good growing experience. And these games in the beginning of the year hopefully will help us towards the end of the year.
Do you have some coaches have a number. Do you have a number of turnovers you allow, or are you playing golf? You just want the lowest number?
I think every coach has that number. Some are like me. I'm not willing to throw it out there just because then it's out there then.
Yeah.
I want it to be low. I try not to, especially with this group. We have a lot of young kids, so it's hard to put a number on it. But I think most coaches would sell their soul for about 14, 15 turnovers a game. And that sounds like a lot, but it really isn't when you're talking about the game of basketball. You go in, you see these Division I teams there, then you watch an NBA game and they may not even have a turnover in a quarter.
Or dribble.
So, yeah, that's what I mean. So, I would love to have 14, 15, and if I can get lower than that, I think that's great. But right now, we just want to keep it coming down. Hopefully, if we cut that in half, like I told the team, we cut those in half, we win the game.
Of course, not a number you want to dwell on, but it's something that we'll be talking about this season. You look at your squad, you've got Lanice. Seems she's been there a while now, redshirt senior.
Yeah, 5 years.
She should be a backbone for your team this year. Other than that, a lot of young players here.
Yeah, that's the exciting part. We have Lanice, and she's ready to take the shoulder. She sat behind some very, very good post players over the years here. And she's ready to take over. And in that first game, double-double, 15 points, 11 rebounds against a really good team. And the second game, she got in a little bit of foul trouble and just couldn't get her groove. But she's going to have a really nice year for her. We just got to keep her healthy, keep everybody healthy. But, as long as you have that solid post player, I think you can do some damage. And we have some kids that can come in and spell her a little bit throughout the season. But Lanice is ready to go. We talked in the beginning of the year, and she sat behind and got some good minutes behind some really good post players. So she's ready to go. She understands the system. She understands what we want as a staff. And she came out and did it that first game. And it was tough. I wanted her to have a better game. But when she got into foul trouble, just pulling her in and out, and just couldn't get a groove. And then towards the end, when she was in, they were sagging in on her. They were double team and triple team, and at times in their zone, and she couldn't really do anything with that. And we couldn't hit any shots from the outside to spell the inside. So it was a rough night for her. But I'm looking for her. She's ready to build this, and she's excited about it. So are we.
Another exciting player, hopefully this season, Maggie Mitchell. Is that someone that you recruited before? Because she has some experience, it looks like, at Ashland.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. She comes in as a transfer, and it was one of those things where, with transfers, it could be 100 different things why they leave. but got a phone call. I mean, not got a phone call. Got the email from the school that said that she's looking to transfer, then got an email, did it all by the NCAA, and then gave her a call and had her over for a visit. She loved what we had, and she comes in. She's a really solid player. She has some experience from a really good team who she'll get to face her teammates in a couple weeks. And yeah, she's a solid kid, one of the hardest workers I've coached, and those are kids that you love to have on your team, that are hard workers, that put their nose to the grindstone and get it done. And I think she'll be a nice player for us. She's getting the feel of our tempo and the style of play, and she had a really nice game the second game. She did some nice things the first game. Shots weren't falling the second game, a couple threes, and once you get that first couple down, you know what I mean, it kind of loosens up everything. We had a lot of jitters. Even the second game, we had a lot of jitters when you're dealing with a lot of young kids, but that's to be expected. And, that means something to me. If I had kids that it didn't bother them, I'd probably be a little more scared than if it didn't bother them than them being a little nervous. I understand nervous. I'm okay with that.
So going into a season, we're talking with Jim Brunelli, by the way, head coach of the Gannon Lady Knights. Going into a season, do you have a game plan and you need to get to that game, or are you looking closely at these first two, for instance, and making adjustments based on those? Or do you chalk it up to jitters and like I said, try to get back to that game? How do you kind of go about that?
No, we have a game plan. They took us out of it. They really did.
Okay.
We saw a lot of pressure, which we hadn't seen. We had a couple scrimmages versus D1 schools, and they didn't really do much full court. And you can only, when you watch film, and you can only simulate it as much as you can. And we had 6-7 players out against us, But when the jerseys are on and the lights are on and everything, you can have them practice and turn it over 100 times. It doesn't matter. I can take a ball off the rack, and the kids know every time we have a turnover, ball goes off the rack. When all the balls are off the rack, we have no balls to play with, so we run. And
right.
it's one of those things where we didn't really get to that. And when the lights are on, though, there's that different. It just comes over you, and it affects kids different ways. And we had some kids just talking with a couple players today about it. It was just they got it in their head and they couldn't shake it. It got them rattled. But now they know that feeling and they know what it's about. So now hopefully they can move past that. But we have a certain game plan in mind. And yeah, you want to throw up some test balloons in games, and I think some of our kids put up too many test balloons, whether a pass could or could not get there. Okay. But they're doing it more in practice, and that's what you tell them. Hey, you try a pass in practice before you do it in the game. If you've never thrown it before, then stick with the basics. We always talk about, we're not going to get on SportsCenter with a pass right now. You don't have to make the spectacular. Just make the basic, the fundamental pass, and that's how we'll play. And so you have game plans going in, and then it's just you make adjustments. And this one, you chalk a lot of it up to jitters, and you hope that it doesn't continue. But our next game this Wednesday against Shepherd, another solid ball club that has a lot of upperclassmen, and we'll see how it goes. They get after it a little bit on the full court, so we just got to go out and play our game, and hopefully being at home in the friendly confines of the Hammermill Center, we won't turn the ball over as much. But fingers are crossed right now. Kids are working hard at it, so.
That's all you can ask at this point. You've got a really young team. Looks like 7 freshmen, if I'm counting right.
Yeah.
Not my strong suit. 4 sophomores. Can you tell us about the young players on your team? Are you particularly excited about any of them? Or are you kind of wait and see?
No, I'm excited about all of them, to be honest with you. I love this team. It's a great group of ladies. Their energy, their enthusiasm. It's not like a team that I've had before here at Gannon, and I enjoy them coming in and out. They just bring that. They bring that newness, you know what I mean? And we have a local kid, as slippery rock, as local as you can get. And Marissa Sibka, she's a hard-nosed kid and has played up in this area playing the different high schools around here. So she's fun to watch. She's a hard-nosed kid that she's like the Energizer Bunny, man. She just gets going, and so sometimes you just got to pull on the reins a little bit and say, ease up a little bit. Another young lady. We have 2 of our freshmen that didn't make the trip out east with us, and I don't know if we'll have them for Wednesday either. I doubt it. But Kiana Cannon is another point guard. She's injured right now out of Wisconsin, and Keely Hall is a post player who didn't get to see any time. They didn't even make the trip because of injuries and missing class time. So those 2 are on the shelf right now. But Chelsea Rourke out of the Pittsburgh area, Pine Richland, I think she's once she gets comfortable, I think she has a lot of potential. Haley Tavis, Lauren's sister, is a fun kid to watch. Once she understands right now the big transition is what worked in high school may not work at the college level. And, you're not going out and when you're playing in high school, you might find a team that has, 2 players, really good players who understand the game. The other ones are soccer players, and nothing against it, but they're fielding a team. Here, you're out with committed players, and they're out there working hard. So, we're making passes that may have worked in high school, but they're not going to work at the college level. But Haley just pushes tempo. She's a big 5'11" guard, could play the point guard all the way to the 4 spot for us. So she has a lot of potential, and hopefully we'll be able to develop it and get her to go. But I think she'll be fun to watch. I don't want to miss anybody. I said Marissa, I said Haley, Keely and Kiana are injured. India's a walk-on out of Florida. She's gonna, she's in a tough spot because she's a walk-on, but she's working hard every day, and she does some nice things for us defensively. Who else am I missing there? I'm drawing a blank.
See, we got a Brongard. You talk about her?
Oh, Julia, point guard out of New Jersey. I think she has a ton of potential. She's a nice young lady. Has that ability to score from that point guard spot, which I really like, so that they can't sag off you in different areas. And she struggled a little bit out in front of family out this past weekend, but we talked today, and I think she's going to be ready to go. She's understanding what we want, and you can only do so much in practice. You know what I mean? You can say, hey, this is where the shot's going to come from, this and that. But once the lights are on and the jerseys are on, then it's got to happen. And she saw some things where she could have taken advantage of positioning or the offense. And so it was definitely a learning experience. You can't throw anything out of it other than it was a learning experience, and it's going to make us better.
All right, he's Jim Brunelli, head coach of the Gannon Lady Knights. As you said, Shepherd coming up Wednesday. Have you looked a lot into their team? You're just worried about Gannon right now?
You have to look into them. You have to look into them. We always do scouts, and our staff, is looking into it, and we watch them. They're a well-coached team, and they have some really upperclassmen. Looking at them, they had 2 kids who started every game last year. This year, coming off the bench, and putting in numbers. One of their players is putting in 18 points a game. Another one putting 12. So they have the potential. I don't want to call them. I don't want to be, goofy about it, but they're an undersized team. And what I mean by that, their tallest player is maybe 5'11", 6 foot. All their other guards are, 5'8", 5'9", 5'5", but they are scrappy. They get up and down the floor. All of them can pass, shoot, and dribble. And those are the ones that are most deadly. You see some kids that come in and they got 6'2", 6'3", but they're a well-oiled machine, and I think they're going to do well in their conference. Hopefully we can catch them Wednesday night.
Good stuff. We're looking forward to it. That'll be, of course, from the Hammermill Center, 5:30 p.m. Looks like the tip time. Probably should have started with this, Coach, but what else is up, man? How was your off season?
It was busy. Just a lot of recruiting, and had a good time with camps and just getting out and seeing our kids play. And we have all our kids come back and work camp, so it's always fun to have those guys come in and just preparing for this season, putting in. It's our off season is probably our busiest, because we're recruiting, we're trying to plan for the season coming up and working camps and different things. But it's exciting. It was another fun time in Erie, and we're looking for another good year here.
Do you take some time in the off season to watch TV or?
You try to. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I wish I could get somebody to mow my grass, but no, I have to do that. That's when your time. You take that time, and my time is always spent with my family. So if it's not basketball, if it's not something, we're hanging out, taking trips, going to Waldemere, doing all that fun stuff.
Yeah, you like Erie, don't you?
Yeah, we do. We take advantage of the beach. My kids love the beach. My family, my wife, everybody. Go to the Seawolves games, try to support the local teams here as well. So.
Awesome. Well, he's Jim Brunelli. We'll be checking in with you weekly now. So.
All right.
'Tis the season.
That's it.
Gannon Lady Knights this Wednesday, once again, 5:30 p.m. from the Hammermill. Coach, thank you so much.
Thank you.